Well, hello. Today we're going to talk about off-camera flash. Learn some stuff, see what it can do, what's the pros, what's the cons. Let's get into it. So, by taking your camera off your flash, you instantly gain exactly where you want the light to go. That means you can shape your shadows, you can highlight your subject, you can add depth that you just can't get with a on-camera flash. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly the basics you're going to need to learn off-camera flash and how to set it up and what gear you'll need, and most importantly, how to make a better image. So to get started, you're going to need three things. You're going to need a camera, which would be helpful if I had it right here. I do. It's right here. Camera. A7 III. And then you're going to need a flash. This is the Godox V860-2S edition for Sony. And then 3, you're going to need a trigger for your off-camera flash, because obviously we're going to need to have something that triggers those flashes when they're not connected to our camera. And then eventually you can use that trigger to do multiple flashes at the same time. So when you're at a show and you need to position your off-camera flashes, obviously you can only use flash if you're allowed to, but in this case, for the sake of this video, we're going to assume that you can. So to position your flashes, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need your flashes, obviously. And then I bought this little thing on Amazon. It is a hot shoe adapter to a tripod adapter. I'm sure that's exactly what they're called. But what they do is they go right on your hot shoe, like that. And then you take your clip that you have, and you can screw it then onto the clip, which is kind of like a hot shoe mount or a tripod mount. And then you have a clip that you can kind of clip onto anything with your flash on, flip it up into the air, and bang bang. So now that we have our flash with a clamp on it, connected up into the sky somewhere at a show, and our camera with a trigger on the top of it, I'm going to show some footage and photos of what it looks like in use and kind of explain what I'm thinking and how I do it. Let's go over a little bit more. Let's do it.
All right, so here we are setting up for the show, and as you can see, I found a mount for my flash on this garage door. It's just on a little bracket, but hey, it works. So here's my camera bag. Got all my stuff in there. Let's get the camera out. Here I have my Godox trigger, powering it up, make sure my settings are all good and that it works. And shout out to Rake Brewing in Muskegon. Honestly, one of the best burritos that I have had in a very long time. Now that we have the trigger set up, here's how the flash is on the mounts again. And you can see that I'm going to set it up here, turn it on. You can see that I shoot in full manual. I control that with my triggers, group A because I have multiple flashes and so on. So back to mounting our flashes. Here's our first flash, and then my second flash I'm putting up here. Yeah, sorry. It's a little hard to videotape and do a very two-handed job with the ball joint mount and aiming your flash. It's not the easiest, but we managed.
Let's fucking shake the day!
So first band up was Smile. I believe they said they're from Akron, Ohio. Super energetic band, got everybody moving. It was, yeah, great band. But first thing that I'm thinking here is how am I with my lighting testing out my shots, adjusting my manual flash here. In the future, I'm going to have a GoPro where I can kind of record me doing this stuff as well. But here, I'll put some shots up here in a second. But, you know, big thing with flash is obviously you want to be illuminating the subject, but with flash on a digital camera, at least, you don't want to be blowing out your highlights, because it's a lot harder to get your highlights back on digital, and your dynamic range that you have to bring your lighting back up is pretty drastic. So here's some images of Smile. And really, another thing that I love about off-camera flash is the shadows that it creates, along with the flash burst in the background. Makes the image very interesting and helps you capture the moment even more. So next up we had Slug out of Cleveland, Ohio, another amazing band, really kept the energy going. And I really love a band that knows how to make their set entertaining and keep the energy high throughout the whole entire time, which they definitely did. One thing that you'll notice with these venues that have windows is that the lighting will change as it gets darker outside. So one thing to look out for with flash in general is making sure that your settings are adjusted for the light changes. So here's some images from their set. And while we're looking at these images, one thing to remember about off-camera flash is it is a game of trial and error. You're going to lose a lot more than you're going to win, but eventually you'll learn your settings and kind of what works, and you'll be able to have a good starting place every single time. Next up is the Sissy Boys, hometown favorites. I've been seeing these guys for a handful of years now, and they truly don't disappoint. There's always some sort of gimmick, and they make hardcore fun, which is always a blast. Got to keep it light, you know? So with this set, honestly, just really focusing on capturing the energy. By now I have all my settings kind of dialed in, and you know, just trying to capture everything that I possibly can with all the exciting moments. So after this here, the lights get shut off, and that, you know, brings a couple problems to the table. Focusing is a big one, but something that I always recommend to people is using manual focus in this situation, where you can kind of lock your position and focus on a target. Definitely takes a lot of practice, but once you get good at it, it makes it a lot easier. So thanks for checking out my first video. Remember to like and subscribe, hit the little bell to get notified on new videos, and I will leave you with some more photos of the Sissy Boys.